Hello, how are you all this fine day? I hope that if you're here, you subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and you check out the links that are down below. We've got my email, newsletter, my website, my social media. Go check them out. See what tidbits you pick up there. Now, I've kind of alluded to this in other topics of discussion, but I wanted a whole separate dedicated talk, if you will, not sponsored by the TED of TED Talks, but comparison is so hard. I don't know if it's a neurodiverse thing. I don't know if it's just a human thing. Probably to some degree both, but it is inevitable in my life, at least, that I am drawn to compare, because I mean, that's how, honestly, if we've been masking up to this point, that's how we've kind of learned to survive and adapt, because you don't know what the actual norm is or what people normally do. So you inevitably compare, you figure out what the heck is deemed good and what's deemed bad, and all of these very obscure kind of social norms that we can just gladly throw in the garbage. But even with wanting to unmask and just be authentic, I think we still can end up comparing ourselves in any kind of environment. If you are around any sort of neurotypical people, neurotypical standards, which is like our society as a whole, then we notice that we're different, and we notice that how we live and how you're supposed to live and what you're supposed to strive for, and all of these different pressures that are placed upon us, they don't necessarily apply to neurodiverse people. And there's not really a roadmap for these other, I don't know, expectations, whether you want them or not, for people who are autistic and neurodiverse and have just a different ways of being that don't directly fall into a neat little category or path or whatever the heck, whatever kind of vague terms that we use for just existing and having to be in this weirdly structured world. And you know, it's hopefully part of your own realization, if you do catch yourself falling into that comparison trap, that we remember that we as neurodiverse people are a circle, and neurotypical people and a neurotypical life and world is just full of squares and square pegs, and we can't neatly fit into these things. And if we try, we're probably going to hurt ourselves in the long run trying to fit ourselves in and shove it in. It's just ultimately it's just not sustainable. And if we're drawn to compare our individual selves with other individuals, that whether they're neurotypical or neurodiverse, again, I've said it many times, but any form of neurodiversity is an entire spectrum. So I often say that things are from my experience, because we inevitably want to fit ourselves into someone else's narrative when we don't. That's not ours. And comparing a neurodiverse person with a neurotypical person is like comparing an apple and a cucumber. They're both technically fruit. Yes, cucumber is a fruit because it has seeds. But man, are they different. I don't know if you can pickle apples, but I probably wouldn't. And if you compare a neurodiverse person with another neurodiverse person, then perhaps they are an apple and maybe a slight variation of an apple, a Granny Smith, or whatever kind of analogy that works best for you. It's not helpful to try and live out everyone else's experiences and try to be authentic, but not as ourselves, if that makes sense. Trying to be someone else's authenticity when you've got your own fun thing going on, and you go for it. You do your thing. And when it does put you in a place where maybe other people are comparing you and judging you based off of unrealistic notions, then as best as you can to tread through that and to not take it personally, which is much easier said than done. But ultimately, it all comes back to your own self and your own being. So, comparison, as many Pinterest quotes have said it, is the thief of joy. It's bad. We all know it's bad, and we do it. You just do it. So, if anything, I hope that if you aren't already, to at least start recognizing where you might not even be consciously comparing, but you do it anyway because you're surrounded by the messages that tell you to work harder and be more productive and do these certain things with your life and live a certain way. Try and be a little more critical of your own mental voice, and just honestly just critical of everything that you might consume and be around. Because man, am I so tempted to just like peace out society, let's go to the woods and hide forever. Because it's hard. It's so hard. But look at you. You're here and you're doing the thing. You're awesome and you're doing your best, however that looks, and that is amazing. So, please leave your own thoughts and share whatever helpful things you might want to in the comments below. And if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, taking your time out of your day, and remember that you are you, and that is awesome, wonderful, fantastic, insert positive word here. And I will see you all next time.